Hello, what's up guys, and welcome to Ívar's Fly Workshop. Today we are tying a fly made out of alternative materials, including called Tanna. And we are tying this on an RX N118 streamer hook number 6. And yeah, like I said, this is a fly made out of alternative materials because we have this plastic piece. It's a heat shrink tube. You can buy those in hardware stores and places, and this fly is made and designed by a friend of mine, Jón Sigurðsson, my mentor. And there will be, at the end, there will be over 50 videos with his collection here on the channel. So just stay tuned and subscribe to the channel, because his flies are amazing how much and how well they work. We start by doing this. Put the first tube on the hook shank. Then we measure out for the next one. To build the structure of the body of the fly, we have to cut that down a little bit shorter, and then the third tube will be even shorter than the second one. So we slide that up on, so it's about in the middle, and you can see that we are building up like a structure of the tube and of the body. And the reason for this is, this is hook size number 6. This is relatively large. For streamers, I would say this is pretty large fly. But Jón was tying this fly on streamer hooks number, like on this Kamasans that he had number 2 and even 1. So you can imagine the full size of the fly was like 15 centimeters, full dressed. It's like more like a lure to me than a fly, but this is how he built up the body of it. And this fly was designed in the east part, or the northeast of Iceland, around Mývatn, while Jón was fishing there with Mr. Pedersen and Dr. Blöndal. And we have to heat up the last heat shrink tube. So it's like a structure of the body, as you can see. And the reason why he did not use wool for the fly is simply to keep it lighter. Casting a fly at this size on a rod, he said it would be too risky to break the top of the rod. The thread I'm using for this one is UTC 140 denier black, and you need kind of like a heavy thread, at least for the first part of the fly. And start by wrapping the thread around the tube. And yeah, the reason for we are using the tubes in it is simply because we want to keep this fly light. Not for light in the water, just for light to be able to cast it without damaging something or having any troubles with it. We just have to take the tubes just like some couple of millimeters further forward to the eye of the hook. So we have to have like a space there on the back for the tail of the fly. And the tail of the fly is like large. It's, I think, I'm not kidding, it's probably the largest fly that has ever been designed in Iceland. There is at least no other fly that I'm familiar with that has this size, like when it's tied on hook number 2. And you can, it's like just your choice of color, but I'd like to keep the color like lighter colors for the first part of the tail. So we keep like, it's a whole marabou plume that we use, and we attach it down like so. And just to keep it as a small minnow, not small, but like a minnow or a fish, we have to build the body and the structure of the fly up so it's like lighter on the belly and on the underside, and darker on the other side, on the top, because that's how the fish and those tiny little fishes look like. And as the other part of the tail, I would be using another marble plume, except this marble plume is that large. I'm gonna split it in half and use the top of it. The other part of it you can just store and use for later on in some other flies or nobblers or some, just whatever you like to make with it. And then this comes on the top, on the other feather. So you can see it's like a 50-50 split colored tail. And this looks pretty well when it comes to water. It's like I said, it's at your choice, the colors. You can keep the tail just totally black. It's just all up to you. And you can, as you'll see with the body, you can use gold or mylar piping or just whatever you like. Silver, just go get your imagination a little bit, give it like a loose, give it loose and play with it. You can actually add, if you want, like a flash, like a silver or gold flash or pearl flash to the tail, but the original fly from Jón, the original Tanna, was not tied like that. He tied some of them like that later on, but this fly has it's over 20 years 20 years old. It's over 20 years since it was designed, and a lot of stuff had changed in the fly tying ever since. We are using a wire, either a gold or a copper wire, for the body, and we have to start by attaching the wire there as I'm doing, because we will make a matuka wing on this fly. So it's kind of like a challenging fly for tying, because you have to know how to work with the mylar piping, and you have to know how to prepare a matuka wing. And you can use, both grizzly. This depends on the feathers you have. Just any feather. Grizzly would be an option, but those grizzly feathers are too short, so I'm picking like a slappin for the wing. They are like a little softer. They are like, more lively in the water, perhaps. And you have to split the feather. You take two feathers and strip off the other side of the feather, and you must make sure that the shiny side of the feather is facing outwards. And when you have selected your two feathers, you'll have to take your mylar piping material. This is a golden mylar piping. It's just of your choice. You can use silver or pearl or just whatever mylar piping you have. Give it, like I said, give it a try and tie it in some color variations. And to measure out the length of the stuff we need is that we'll do it like this, and you'll make like at least an extra centimeter, like a half an inch or so, because we don't want the mylar piping to be too tight. So, and there is a cord inside the mylar piping, either a nylon or a cotton cord or whatever kind of cord there is in it. You have to cut it to pieces, like split the mylar piping, and then take the cord out before you slide the mylar piping tube up on the body of the fly, because the mylar piping will be the body of the fly. And you have to twist it like this so it's not getting trapped in. And then we wrap really tight wraps around to make it secure. And you have to find kind of the head of the fly. And now you can start to measure out where exactly you want to split your feather, because the feather is supposed to be the fin of the fish, and it's supposed to be like a little lively in the water. That's the reason I do not choose too hard material for it. There is a first feather, and we split that there and attach it down like this with 2 or 3 tight wraps, and just leave the butt of the feather there. The second feather is like this, and then we do it like this. We just split it and place it down so it's just side by side to the other feather. and wrap that with 2 or 3 couple of wraps, tight wraps to keep it down. It's very important. And then we are going to make a knot on the back. Go big or go home. That's what my mentor said. My great mentor Jón Sigurðsson said that. He just said basically, big fish, you need big flies. But now we attach the feather or the wing down, the matuga wing, and we have to make sure that the thread is exactly in place, tight wrapped down. You can use actually black feather for this. I just chose purple ones because I had so good purple feathers at the moment. I'm using a purple ones. You can use white or just whatever kind of color you think that will work. And now we'll do a whip finish on the butt of the fly. And one thing you have to think of there, when we do the whip finishing there, we have to make this triangle, get it over the mylar piping of the fly. One thing you must do is to be aware of to not jam the end of the mylar piping there. So it depends on the material, of course. Some mylar piping tubes are really good, like this one. It's not going messed up even if you touch the end, but some of them have so much tension in them that if you touch the end, it will be like an inch of the tube, of the mylar piping tube, just damaged, which you can't use. So if you're buying a mylar piping, just try to find the material which has not too much tension in it. Then we are swapping over, since we've done the knot, then we are swapping over to an 8/0 black uni thread. We will of course do a paint job on the butt of the fly at the end. Then you just have to find the head of the fly and start wrap. You can find the head by just touching the mylar tube. You can find where about the head is and just place the thread like some millimeters further back, so you have space for it. Then we just snip this end off, and we have to cut loose this mylar piping here. And that's the reason why I left it so long. It's like at least 1.5 centimeter. It's okay to lose that material. It's better to keep it long like this and have to trim that down instead of being too short on it. I speak from experience here. And now the form of the body has, like you say, formed, and we are already forming the head of the fly. And this is by far the longest video I've ever made on the channel, and hopefully you guys have time to watch it. But it's like I said, it's a big fly, and it works, believe me. And we'll form the head like this. Start to form it, and then we have to take the feathers, the wing of the fly, and we have to bend the feathers backwards like this. And we have to merge them together so they are kind of level with each other. It's okay to put a little bit of a saliva on the feathers and stroke them back like so. Then we have to find a decent spot where you want to split the feather, hold it, and wrap it tight. That's about the place you have to take it in. Then you snip off this end and you leave a 2 millimeter there, simply to tie them down, because otherwise you'll be tying them it will be a matter of just a tiny bit that will be holding the wing. It's better to make it a little bit bigger than this. And when this fly gets wet, it gets really narrow in the water, just like a fish. And those feathers, that is optional. I trim them off because the leftover of the wing, I trim them off simply because they will be kind of in the way of the marabou in the tail, because the marabou moves in the water, and if you have those two feathers slapping there, you're kind of killing down the movement of the marabou, and that's something which we do not want to. Now comes the funny part, that is the matuka wing, and then we have to take the wire, split the feather, and place a wire in between. I don't know how many anglers or fly tyers use the matuka, the method of matuka wings much more today, because we are in the era of sunkers, which you can attach the sunker down like this, but you can also just attach the sunker wing just on the front and on the back, and you'll be good to go. Same with this fly, actually. You could technically use a sunker wing for it, but we are tying it as it's originally tied by Jón, and we'll keep it like this. The only thing that we are changing on the fly is at the end, I'm going to place like an epoxy eye, a pair of epoxy eyes on the fly instead of painting eyes on the fly. Then we will just helicopter the wire off there. And you see, this is pretty large fly, and it's a great option for seatrout and browntrout. You can tie it in other variations of colors. If you have like an orange tube, just go for it. Try it out and tell me in the comments below what you think, and if the fish was interested in it. Then we have to build up like a hat on the fly, because if I'm placing epoxy eyes on the hat of the fly, there has to be space on the hat for the eyes, right? Therefore, we need to make the hat like a little bulkier, and that means you have to take some wraps around and build up the head of the fly, so you have space for it, for the eyes, I mean. And after that, we have to whip finish and place a coat on the, like a varnish, UV varnish or UV glue on the fly, and then we'll be placing the eyes on. It's nice to have this camera now, so we can zoom in full focus on almost any size of fly. I could be tying size 22 and you could still see what I'm doing. I upgraded my camera setup, and I just contacted Dave McPhail in Scotland, who's kind of the king of YouTube videos in fly tying, and he said to me and told me what kind of setup he's using, and I imitating his setup. Here is an original Tanna by Jón. Not original, but like a recent one. And that's how it is tied. He has a grizzly, a pink grizzly in the wing. He has painted eyes on it, and he's a little flash in the tail. But he told me that the Tannas that he preferred himself was more like a dark colored Tannas with either silver or gold body. He said that to me. So we placed like this UV glue on the both the hat and then the butt, because the butt of the fly, it has a knot there that we have to secure with the glue. And then we have to secure the thread in the hat with the UV resin as well. I'm using Solaris Bone Dry or Bone Cure. That's just an excellent material because it's not tacky or sticky or anything. It's just the answer forming hats on the flies. Then we zap it with our UV torch. And yeah, you can see the quality in the video. I just absolutely love the camera setup. I'm using a Sony AX100. It did not break the bank because I broke into the bank basically to get money for it. I'm kidding with you guys, but I got it secondhand and I'm using good light equipment, so it's like a change for the channel now. It's like a big upgrade for us. Absolutely. And I will be, of course, with this camera outside, taking it, making time-lapse videos of me fishing next summer and stuff like this. So it's a good upgrade both for tying and for fly fishing record some good content. Then we place the eye on, and I already placed one eye on, and I use the rotation of the vise, and I place it like so the ice is facing up, simply because if you're trying to do it with it hanging, it's gonna fall off. Then you take your brush and the bone dry cure, place just like a little drop, just to seal the eye in place, just to attach it to the head of the fly. It's not like the permanent thing to do, but we'll place the other eye on the other side, which is facing towards to you guys. That's right here. I'm using a 3mm ice for this one. Silver ice, 3mm, which I got in a local tackle store. And then you have to take the brush again. Just attach a little bit of resin on it. And make sure that the eyes are kind of level. Sometimes, you know, when you are making plastic eyes or epoxy eyes, sometimes the fly goes cross-eyed. But I think the fish is, it doesn't matter at all to the fish. It's going to take it anyway. Then we have to do the coat on the fly. And we have to coat them with UV glue. So since we attach them first round, now we are using the bone cure just to give it like a coat all the ring, just all around. And then I'm gonna take a UV glue, a fulling metal UV glue to place over that, and then again the Solaris bone dry coat. So it's like a kind of like a work to build up the head of the fly. It's close to probably 5 minutes of the video if it's just finishing off the eyes. But it's like I said, it's the longest video we've made, and it's a good lecture about this great fly. Then we come in with a clear medium viscosity fulling mill UV resin. Just place one drop on the head and one drop on the bottom. We try to rotate the vise. While we do that, then we take our needle and tune in the resin, smear it on the parts that you want it to be on, and make it as even as possible. Make sure, of course, that you don't place UV resin in the eye of the hook. We don't want it to go there. And it's like a good coat of ice, and with this coat the ice should be kind of sticking in place. Depends on the backland or the background that you may hit the fly with. Depends on that, of course, how long it's gonna last. But those plastic eyes I found rather durable, but it's like they're not perfect, but of course nothing is perfect in it. Then we will place like a Solaris bone cure as a last coat on the ice, and with that the fly is ready to fish. And this is like I said, this is an excellent pattern by Jón. It's a large fly, and lots of people here in Iceland would laugh about you if you showed up with this on the bank, but the deal is that at the end of the game you might be the one who's laughing at them because you caught the big one and stuff like that. So here is a fly. Here is this golden Tanna by Jón Sigurðsson. Designed in the northeastern part in Laxá, in the northern part of Laxá around Mývatn, in the trout area, where the river holds exclusively only trout. And it was not designed there, and it's not in some fly books in Iceland if it wouldn't have to work there. So this is the golden Tanna by Jón. I just want to say thanks a lot for watching and for the reaction to the channel, and remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more good content. And basically I will see you guys in the next video.